The research vessel, Aurora Path, drifted through the quiet stretch of the Karos fringe, as if it were a wandering thought carried by a cosmic tide. Its polished hull caught faint light from a distant cluster, giving the ship a soft silver glow. Inside its archaeological wing, a human named Rion paced with a mixture of anticipation and restless wonder. He was known among his peers as someone who believed the universe still kept secrets that could reshape history. His hair was unkempt from long nights, and his coat smelled faintly of old archives and metal dust. But his eyes burned with patient curiosity. Rion had been assigned to catalog relics recovered from a derelict moon station. Most artifacts were shards of pottery, ornamental discs, and fragments of crystalline tablets. But one stood apart. A life-size stone sculpture of a serene alien woman, carved with flowing lines that suggested old elegance. According to the tagging records, the relic was approximately 990 years old, belonging to a vanished empire known simply as the Luminary Sovereignty. The sculpted figure wore a crown shaped like interlocking petals, and her expression carried a strange kindness. She was referred to in research logs as the Princess of Silent Stars. Rion approached the statue with the gentle steps of someone entering a sacred chamber. The workshop lights reflected off her polished surface, giving her the illusion of soft skin rather than carved stone. Her eyes appeared half-closed, as if she were listening to something distant. Every detail felt deliberate, from the patterns along her robe to the subtle tilt of her head. Rion could not help but admire the craftsmanship. He placed his tools beside a bench and activated a low hum of surface scanners. Blue light washed over the statue, highlighting hidden inlays and old marks. The datapad confirmed ancient energy residues embedded in the stone. The sculpture was not simply art. It was something more. A device, a container, a message. Rion spoke softly as if the statue could hear. "You are older than most nations I know. What secrets do you hold?" The ship answered with silence. The tools continued to hum. Rion leaned closer, studying the fine grooves around the statue's lips. They curved in a way that seemed almost alive. The craftsmanship was astonishing. The artists of the Luminary Sovereignty had shaped her with such devotion that she seemed to radiate gentle authority. Rion's thoughts drifted toward the possibilities. Many civilizations left behind memory crystals or encoded structures. A statue built with internal energy channels might conceal a recorded message, perhaps even a stored consciousness. It would not be the first time explorers uncovered remnants of ancient intelligence woven into stone. He felt the odd urge to speak again. "You look like someone who waited a long time." The silence felt heavy, not cold but expectant. As if something waited for the right moment, Rion exhaled. He had spent nearly a month with the statue, cataloging every angle, every mark. Maybe he had grown attached to her presence. The quiet dignity soothed him. He felt silly admitting it even to himself, but the statue felt like a companion. A shift in the ship's engines made the floor vibrate slightly. A routine repositioning. Rion steadied himself and moved closer. His fingertips brushed the cool stone near the statue's cheek. He felt the faint pulse of embedded energy circuits that no one had been able to activate. Despite all their scanning, no mechanism had responded. "Maybe you need a different kind of activation," he murmured. It was a joke. Probably a foolish one. But the soft expression carved into stone seemed to invite something sincere. Rion laughed quietly at his own thoughts. He leaned forward and pressed a gentle kiss against the corner of the statue's lips. It was warm where his breath touched the surface, but otherwise cold and still, except it was not still. A whisper of light rippled under the stone. A thin line traveled across her surface, like a pulse awakening. The statue glowed briefly before the energy settled near her eyes. Her lashes twitched. Her eyelids lifted. Her gaze brightened with a gentle aurora of pale gold. Rian stumbled back, nearly knocking over his tools. His mind struggled to keep up with the moment. The statue had moved. She had awakened. He tried to speak, but could only manage a rough breath. The stone woman's lips parted. She murmured in a soft voice that resonated like warm wind. The words were in an old dialect of Luminari language. Rian had studied fragments of it, enough to catch a few meanings. The whisper seemed to say, "I return," or perhaps "I hear you," or maybe both at once. Rian's pulse raced. He stepped closer, his voice shaking. "Can you understand me?" The statue turned her head slightly. Her eyes, glowing with gentle warmth, focused on him. The faint energy under her surface pulsed again. She spoke with a slow melody. The translation algorithms on the bench tried to capture the meaning, but failed repeatedly, overwhelmed by layered tones. Her head tilted as if she were assessing his presence. Then she spoke a phrase that the translator finally caught. "Are you the one who calls me back?" "I did not mean to call you," Rian replied. "I only wanted to understand your story." The statue blinked, each movement refined and soft. "You hold respect. That is rare in distant ages. Many touched my form, but carried only greed. You brought gentleness. That is why I wake," Rian swallowed. "Who are you truly?" "I am a memory keeper," she answered. "A guardian of my people. When my empire fell, I was sealed within this vessel of stone. It was meant to preserve our legacy until someone worthy discovered us." Rian could hardly process the weight of her words. "Why now? Why did a kiss activate you?" Her expression softened with something like amusement. "The stone listens to heart signals. A gesture of sincere respect and affection is the key. It is an old tradition. Our guardians awaken not with commands, but with gentle recognition." Rian rubbed the back of his neck in embarrassment. "I only meant it as a small sign of wonder. Nothing more." "It was enough," she said. Her glow brightened. The workshop lights flickered as the statue drew energy from the ship's ambient systems. Rian watched in awe as the stone surface began to shift. Not melting, not cracking, but reshaping. The stone softened like clay, touched by unseen hands. A layer of luminescent material replaced the rigid structure. Slowly, her outer form became smooth and flexible. Not flesh exactly, but something close. An advanced synthetic material, ancient, yet beyond modern understanding. When her transformation settled, she looked more alive than artifact. Her voice grew clearer. "Now I can speak fully." Rian took a deep breath. "What do you want to do?" "I wish to see the stars once more. I wish to learn what became of the galaxy. I wish to know the fate of the worlds my people loved. And I wish to thank the one who freed me." "You do not need to thank me," Rian said. "I choose to," she answered. Rian guided her to a seat on the bench. Though she moved with calm dignity, as if she remembered how to live despite centuries inside stone. She traced the metal table with delicate fingers, fascinated by its texture. She asked Rian to describe the current age. He spent hours explaining how borders shifted, how alliances formed, how some empires rose with kindness, while others collapsed under their own weight. He shared stories of explorers, scholars, traders, and dreamers. He explained how humans spread into new regions with determination and cooperation. The statue woman listened with quiet gratitude. "Your species is young, but carries bold spirit. You chase knowledge with strength and kindness. Your hands reach far, yet you respect the unknown. That is rare in the universe." Rian smiled. "I like to think we try our best. You do more than try." "You rise," she said. A calm silence formed between them. Not empty, but warm. Rian studied her features again. Without the rigid stone surface, her expressions shifted smoothly. Her eyes carried depth, like someone who had known both sorrow and hope. He cleared his throat. "What should I call you? Do you have a name humans can speak?" She considered the question. "Call me Lyra. It is a name once given to those who carried light in dark times." Rian nodded. "Lyra suits you." She lifted her gaze to the ceiling as if she sensed the endless void beyond it. "When I slept inside stone, I dreamed of my people. I feared no one would ever understand us. But you do. You carry respect for all life. That is what awakens ancient guardians." Rian hesitated. "I did not expect any of this. I just admired the beauty of your craft. You saw more than craft. You saw personhood. That is why I live again." The hours passed as they spoke. Lyra shared fragments of her civilization. The Luminary sovereignty believed wisdom should travel through time like a gentle current guiding lost travelers. They built memory keepers not to rule, but to preserve truth. Each memory keeper carried knowledge from different eras, meant to awaken only when the galaxy needed them. Rian absorbed every word. The idea of a civilization so dedicated to understanding rather than conquest resonated with him. Humanity had grown through struggle, but aimed for harmony whenever possible. Perhaps that same spirit connected him to Lyra. At one point Lyra looked directly into his eyes. "You gave a gesture that carried genuine warmth. That simple act restored my awareness. Human kindness is powerful, stronger than you know." Rian's cheeks warmed. "I only acted on instinct. Instinct reveals true character," she replied. A soft chime interrupted them. The ship's pilot announced a shift in navigation. Rian stood and offered Lyra his hand. She accepted, rising gracefully. The glow around her dimmed slightly, settling into a calm aura. Rian led her to the observation deck. When the doors opened, the vast expanse of the galaxy greeted them. Swirls of cosmic dust and distant stars filled the glass canopy. Lyra stepped forward, resting her hand gently on the transparent shield. "This site once belonged to my people. Now it belongs to many. Change is not loss. Change is passage," she said. Rian stood beside her. "Would you like to visit other worlds? Learn our age firsthand?" "Yes," she said, "but not alone. I want you to guide me. You awaken me with kindness. Let me learn through your eyes." Rian felt a warm tug in his chest. "I would be honored." Lyra turned to him and offered a gentle smile. "Then our journey begins here." From the kiss that awakened ancient memory to the steps that shaped new paths, they remained on the deck, watching the stars in shared silence. Two beings from distant ages standing side by side. One human, one ancient guardian reborn. Together, they represented the spirit of curiosity that carried civilizations forward. And in that quiet cosmic view, Lyra murmured again. This time, the translator captured it with perfect clarity. "Human hearts carry more power than any star. That is why you shine in the darkest places." Rian lowered his gaze for a moment. Humbled when he looked up again, Lyra's eyes glowed softly with a promise of new beginnings. A promise born not from destiny, but from gentle respect and the awakening spark of connection. The universe awaited them, and neither intended to face it alone.